The second movement is the longest movement. It's allegro. It's just really laborious to play. Interesting to compare the Sikorsky to the original. There's a lot of accents missing in Sikorsky that I added with a pen. Apart from that, a slur here and there, dynamics, a comma. In some places, someone has made a circle with a pencil in the cello part, like around the bar. My first thought was that it was Alexander Ivashkin who wanted to ask about something, because one of those bars is actually correct in the Sikorsky rather than in the original. It looks like maybe Ivashkin circled a bar that he then asked Schnittke, is this right? And then Schnittke told him, no. At least according to the recording, from what I hear in the recording, Sikorsky has the right version. Which bar is that? It's on number 39, bar 279. The soloist is playing 16 notes, but in the original they're written as 8 notes. There are clefs missing in the Sikorsky. I had already written them in though, because it was so apparent from the recordings that something was missing, some treble clefs. So yeah, I've been writing in a bunch of accents, dynamics, slurs. And I've gone through the movement, so now I can practice it slightly more true to the score, which is a nice feeling. I'll draw a card as well. This was the movement that I found the hardest to make sense of at all. It's like a dance. It's in 3/4, but it's really fun to practice. It's like a crazy etude and atonal music all over the fingerboard. Okay, so I need some hints, some inspiration here. Oh wow! And I drew the Fool. That's amazing. I'm not even sorting out the major arcana from the minor arcana, but I already drew the Devil for the 4th movement, and now the Fool for the 2nd movement. And these are the only cards I've drawn ever for these movements, by the way. So that's pretty cool. Now the Fool is the perfect card for this movement for me. Openness. Jump into it. Be curious. Carefree. Just do it, yeah. This second movement with the concerto was the one that felt the least accessible to me as a listener. And even when I started to play it, it was just a super strange piece. And it's long as well. But at this point, I'm starting to get a feel for it. It's a very rhythmical piece. I see it as having an exposition, a development, and a recapitulation. I think it's pretty clear, and it makes it easier to listen to when just dividing it up into the 3 parts. It also helps to look at it as a dance, a grotesque dance, but nevertheless, it does start out in 3/4, which in itself is a dance-like meter. And this feeling of 3 comes back in different shapes. At some point, each bar is divided into 6 triplets. And then comes the half tempo as well. So there are hemiolas, 3 quarter notes over 4/4 bars, but with a 3/4 feeling. Also the main theme from the first movement, which sounds serious. It sounds like a serious statement of a theme. Here in the second movement, it comes back, but in this dance way. It's a technically challenging movement. A lot of just playing all over the fingerboard. High, low, fast. The metronome marking is 156, I think. No, 152, which is crazy. I can't do that. Maybe I can do 120, but then I feel pretty stressed. So it's technically a lot of work. Probably the movement I have practiced the most in total, for sure. And after the recapitulation, there is this coda, which is also really, it's super cool and difficult. And some of it won't sound through the orchestra anyway, if I ever played with an orchestra, but so now I've been through one movement at a time. I haven't had the time to practice every day, but when I have had some time, I have focused mainly on one movement at a time now for the past 5 weeks. So it's time to look at the bigger picture and to start playing several movements in one go. I think that will be the next, because that's also technically challenging. It's November, it's getting dark at 4, and I'm playing dark music. I think they really go together. It feels nice to play Schnittke now rather than in the middle of the summer. It's a way of embodying this darkness, of not just hiding inside and waiting for light to return, but to be in the dark. I really like getting up early while it's still dark outside. Well, I don't enjoy the actual getting up, but I do enjoy the effect it has on me when I manage to do that and I'm awake during the sunrise or coming of daylight. But just to acknowledge and be present with the darkness, both in, I don't know what to call it, nature, like this, like it is in November in the northern hemisphere, but also musically. Today when I was practicing the end of the second movement of the Schnittke, I saw that there was a little boy was staring at me through the windows in my practice room. He went between them, there were 2 windows, and he kept going back and forth between the 2 of them and just stared at me as I was playing, and it was really creepy. And I thought, this is a great practice for performing this piece. If I can't perform it through the window to a little boy, I can't perform it to anyone.